Hi, I'm Phoenix, and today we're going to be going over this week in gaming. So, this is a new show I am going to be doing probably once a week, as it pretty much covers this most recent week in gaming. When these videos come out has not been decided. It will simply, we'll have to figure out the pattern as we make the videos. We'll have to try and find out when does most gaming news come in and when is it good to make some statements about everything that happened in the past 7 days. I'm thinking that the weekends will always be the best time to make these videos, but let's just go ahead and jump right into it. First, I'm going to start off by saying everything that we're going to be talking about, and then we'll go over each and every topic individually. So, first and foremost, we will be at some point going over a massive amount of Nintendo Switch details from the console itself, what's in the box, all the way down to the different games that are going to be available for it at launch or sometime soon after launch. So, Switch will happen sometime. Gravity Rush 2 reviews are in. The Scalebound director will talk about the cancellation of the game. Tetsuya Nomura talks about the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 development. Some sales reports for the PS4 and the Xbox One as far as 2016 is concerned, as well as a month-to-month breakdown. The new Horizon Zero Dawn trailer is out. There will also be some talk of Mother 3 and Metroid possibilities for the Switch or for just future Nintendo. Zelda Breath of the Wild file size. Super Mario Odyssey is on the core side of things, which is going to be talking about where its roots lie. There will be a new Bomberman for the Switch. Game mode, more details about that on Windows 10. The Overwatch director warns of aggressive action against the Icewall exploits, people who are utilizing May's Icewall exploit. Blizzard bans 10,000 Overwatch nukers in Korea. 2 Razer Prototype laptops were stolen from the CES booth recently. There's also some recent updates about that as well as 2 different things Sims 4 related. PS4 major system software update, and then an awesome Pokemon Emerald speedrun that was done in AGDQ this year. And finally, Final Fantasy 15 has moved 6 million copies. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and talk about Gravity Rush 2. So I just recently discovered this game, kind of similar to Nier Automata, but the game looks really cool. I don't know much. I honestly don't know what to say about it. It has the normal AAA $60 price tag on it. It's directly from Sony Japan Studios, and it looks really cool. It's apparently the sequel to the 2012's Gravity Rush, which was also on the PS4. And the reviews are in, and these reviews from GameSpot, IGN, Eurogamer, Polygon, they're all saying a lot of good things about the game. Some of the reviews on the lower side are from Games Radar has given it a 3 out of 5, which is above the middle, which is weird. I mean, it's just a little bit above the middle. So that kind of equates to like a 55 or 60-ish out of 100. Take that, how you will. Whereas Polygon gave it a 7.5 out of 10. So you can see the Games Radar gave it the more lower end score. And they said that it's along the lines of so they say here, manga-inspired superhero and Cat, Gravity Rush 2 is a bit oafish, clumsy, and often overthinks things way more than necessary. So that's kind of the negative things right off the bat. But a lot of people, like GameSpot themselves, have said that it is really good. GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. So this game looks awesome, and it will be coming out on January 18th. And as of right now, it is January 14th. So whether or not I'll be picking this up, of course, January 18th for Europe and Australia. I'm sorry, January 20th for the United States and the United Kingdom. So it's a little cutting it close to Kingdom Hearts 2.8 for me. It's for me to really take this game and break it down and review it myself. So I'm not too sure. If there's a lot of Gravity Rush fans out there, please let me know if you want a review on this game so I can kind of weigh the possibility of picking this up. Of course, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is definitely getting a full-on review from everything. So, Scalebound director addresses the cancellation and the rumors that he's taking time off. Hideki Kamiya published some statements about Scalebound's cancellation. Of course, he's the director of Scalebound, or was rather, a game coming from Platinum Games, which had a lot of hype built ever since it was shown off at E3, I believe, last year or the year before. Not too sure. I do believe it was when Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced. So Platinum Games released a statement addressing the cancellation of its Xbox One and PC exclusive Scalebound. Kenichi Sato expressed his disappointment, but highlighted a number of the studio's upcoming games that it hopes fans will enjoy. In quotes, "We're sorry to say that on January 9th, 2017, Microsoft Studios announced the cancellation of Scalebound." And the statement goes on to say, "We're very disappointed things ended up this way, especially since we know many of our fans were looking forward to this game as much as we were. Going forward, we will strive to continue delivering high-quality games to you, starting with Nier Automata in March, and including products like Grand Blue Fantasy Project Relink and Lost Order in the future." So basically what they're saying is, sorry, look forward to more games in the future that will be great. Now, I really wanted Scalebound to come out. It looked awesome. It looked really fun. It looked really cool. Fucking dragons, man. I don't know how else to explain this. It just looked cool. Dragons, dinosaurs. Reptiles, man. Reptiles. Scalebound. Come on. So it looked really good. I was really interested in playing it. I had lots of friends that were also interested in it, and I know that a lot of us are pretty disappointed that this game is going down the toilet and it's pretty much being forgotten. I know a lot of the videos are now offline from YouTube, all the official videos, and they're kind of just sweeping it under the rug. So there's also the rumors that Hideki Kamiya, was having mental health issues and was taking time off due to this. He did, however, confirm on his Twitter that that is not the case. And also to note, Microsoft confirmed that it was the result of careful deliberation, quite the process that they went through to make this decision. So, unfortunately, Platinum has not clarified if it has plans to continue developing the game separate from Microsoft, which would be interesting. Of course, there's a huge financial difference between making a game with Microsoft Studios and making a game without them. So, hopefully, maybe there'll be something in the future. Honestly, I wouldn't get your hopes up. Just count it out and just move on. It really sucks. I really wish we could have gotten that game. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 development status outlined by the director, Tetsuya Nomura. So, Tetsuya Nomura basically went on to say, "While I can't make a sweeping statement because the development process is different from what we've done so far, there are worlds untouched. Production is progressing on unannounced worlds. In a state that we cannot show them off in terms of the state of development, there is still some way to go." This is on the subject of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, as for the 7 remake, he says, "We're steadily progressing on production while we are making them. I apologize that the wait will be a bit longer for Kingdom Hearts 3 and the 7 remake." He says he is very sorry, but to the degree that I will make a game that will meet your expectations. Let's hope so. I know that Final Fantasy 15 kind of didn't quite hit the mark for a lot of people, and because 15 didn't blow me away. It was good. It was really good. It just didn't blow me away. It did not meet my expectations. But hopefully 15 in the future will meet my expectations. Nomura goes on to offer a glimmer of hope, saying that last year I didn't put out much information on either title, but this year I want to show our progress at an event somewhere. The release of the titles themselves still have a way to go, but there are many titles releasing this year if you can wait for any surprises. So I guess that's basically just Nomura saying that prior to this, he didn't have much to show and honestly couldn't show much. And realistically, there wasn't anything to show. And I'm certain that it was really, really, really tough to show what they did of Kingdom Hearts 3 when they first announced it. And because it was a long way away. Kingdom Hearts 3 was so far away. So that's honestly very tough on a developer, I could imagine. Having to show something that is so far away from release, building up hype at such an early point can easily lead to the hype not being as big as it could have been if you started the hype train a little bit later. So, but we are being given a glimmer of hope that there is stuff that he does want to show off in the year of 2017 at some sort of event. So, I guess we just all have to hold out for that. The PlayStation 4 tops US December sales whereas the Xbox One wins the second half of 2016. Not much to say here. Basically, a statement from Microsoft shared with GameSpot confirms that December 2016 was the biggest month ever for Xbox One sales in the US. Additionally, the Xbox was the only new generation console that showed year-over-year growth in the US during the month. Microsoft also said that the Xbox One was the best-selling console of the second half of 2016. So, things are looking good for the Xbox, with Project Scorpio around the corner. Is it called Scorpio? I think it might be called Scorpion. One of the two. I do believe it's Scorpio. Yes, Project Scorpio. With Project Scorpio sometime coming down the road and the PS4 Pro already out, Xbox does have a little bit of catching up to do, though they are doing great in sales. New Horizon Zero Dawn cinematic trailer teases some story and shows new enemies. So if you want to check out this trailer and any of the trailers that I'm mentioning in the entirety of WIG today, just check in the description below. There will be a link to everything you need to see if you want to check out the details of everything that I'm referencing. So this trailer looks, it really is showing me that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be a lot more than just some big open world action RPG. It looks like there's going to be some very, very big driving plot, as we've never been given any plot before to this game. And I've been following this game since it's been announced at the E3 that it was shown off at. And I've been waiting. And it was honestly one of the reasons why I was so down to buy a PS4. Of course, when they first showed it off, I didn't have a PS4. And I was concerned because there were so many cool games coming out for the PS4. But I was like, I was constantly hoping PC release maybe, PC release on this, PC release on that. Because personally, I'm a PC guy. And if I can play something on PC, I absolutely will. It does depend, though, depending on the certain product, which I'll get into when I talk about the Switch. But this trailer looks amazing, and I'm really looking forward to getting some more intense story being shown off in this game, because it looks like the story is very, very high tension almost all the time, which is interesting because I wonder how they're going to balance the high tension. You have an immediate task at the hand, and there's also the open world factor. How do you balance the idea of I have an immediate task that I must do now, as well as enjoy the world, explore, be free? I guess we'll have to get more information on the game itself, whether they're really showing it off as an open world kind of game, or maybe it's more on the rails. Of course, not really on the rails, but it's more guided. You just go along the main story. There's no real side questing or anything like that. It's not quite the Skyrim game. It's very, very straightforward. I could see this game being very similar to Just Cause 3, but in my experience, Just Cause 3 fell very flat on story. But from what I can tell, Just Cause 3 was never about the story. It was always about the extremely awesome open world, action-oriented, high movement gameplay. So I'm curious to see where Horizon Zero Dawn goes from here. Again, if you want to check out the trailer, do check it out in the description. This trailer looks awesome. Zero Dawn was also originally scheduled to release in 2016, but Sony did announce a delay to 2017, and we are curious to see. I'm personally curious to see when it's going to actually come out. Let's see. I think it says this time in March 3rd. In the US, it launches in February 28th. Cool. I do think I have noted that down somewhere for my list of games to review, because Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely a game I absolutely want to review, and I'm really looking forward to it. So now we're going to bring the show to the Nintendo Switch section, which is going to be pretty long. We're going to be talking about this for a while, honestly. We've already cut into a lot of time. The Switch looks great. I'm going to go off the bat here and just say I've already pre-ordered. I woke up the morning that the conference was held, because the conference was held at 10 p.m. my time. I live in Central Time. And the next morning I woke up, and the second I was able to, I drove my ass to the nearest GameStop and put down my pre-order. So I'm ready for the Switch. And I'll go over some of the reasons why I'm ready for the Switch as I talk about the different things. So everything you really need to know about the Switch is going to kind of be covered here. And of course, there's articles everywhere that you can look at, and I'll be putting up pictures as we talk about things. So there's three main modes that you can play the Switch in, and that's TV mode, where you put the Switch into the docking station, and it allows you to use the Joy-Con controllers or a Switch Pro controller. I haven't seen any word on backwards compatibility with other controllers, whether or not they accept the Wiimotes or maybe even just the old Pro controller. Not entirely sure on which is going to be available to use, if you can even use them at all with the Switch. I'm hoping that they have some sort of backwards compatibility because that's always a really good thing, and I don't see a big reason for it not to work. I'm especially curious about what kind of digital copies of previous games, Wii U titles, Wii titles, might even be able to come to the Switch eventually through some sort of virtual console means. Of course, I'm not too versed on how the hardware works, so this might be completely out of the realm of possibility. But so you can dock it in the TV mode and play it on your TV using the controller, laying back on the couch, in your computer chair, however you may want to play. And then there's handheld mode, where you basically slot the Joy-Con controllers into the side of the screen of the Switch console, and you eject it from the docking station, and you can take it with you on the go. It's really awesome. It resembles the Wii U gamepad a lot, and it functions on its own. There's no wireless tethering where it receives video from a base unit. Everything is inside the handheld unit. That is where the whole entirety of the Switch is located. And then now you also have tabletop mode, where you can place the screen with the Joy-Cons detached from it and prop it up on a little kickstand, and you can play the Switch while just having it on the tabletop. So that way you can sit back. You can even, with the two Joy-Con controllers, you can turn the Joy-Con controllers sideways, horizontally, and hand one of them to your friends and keep the other one for yourself, and you can play two-player games on the go. That's really cool. The idea that we have two-player capabilities out of the box without having to buy anything else is really cool, and that's something I've always dreaded. When I bought my PS4, I had to buy a second controller because if I ever wanted to play anything two-player, that was just my only option. I had to buy another controller. Consoles didn't commonly come with a second controller. Even the Wii just came with one Wiimote, and you would have to buy you have to buy more Wiimotes in the future. With the Wii U, you got the gamepad, but then fortunately it did support the Wii remote, so I was able to use those. That was very convenient. But now the idea that I can just take my Joy-Con, split it in half, and give my friend one of them, and then we can play games together, that's really cool. When does the console come out? March 3rd. It's a simultaneous release between US, Canada, and Japan. A lot of other places as well, but it's going to be coming out March 3rd. So I know that at GameStop, you can just do a $50 down on it, and that reserves your system, which is extremely important because allegedly, and this is just a random number that I've heard, but I heard that there were only 2 million units of the Nintendo Switch that were going to be made. I don't know if this is to the US specifically or if this is global. I doubt that it's global. I think it's a little more along the lines of US, but I'm not 100% certain on that. So either way, I know that my local GameStop only is supplying 25, and they were very upfront about it. They're very upfront, only 25 units available, and by the time I got there, there were only 8 left, and when I had called them prior to that, there were 9 left. So people are putting in the reserves. So if you need to go get your Nintendo Switch, the second that you see this video might be the time. And you might not even be able to get it. You might even be a little late. So how much is the Switch? That's probably going to be one of the biggest questions. It's $300, $299. I am okay with that price point. It is way better than $350, $400. It is also a lot better than $200 in my opinion. I feel like I would have been very concerned for the quality of the product if it was only $200. $250 in my opinion was the sweet spot. That's where I would have really fully bent over and been totally ready for this product. But I'm totally okay with $300, especially considering the vast amount of features that you get out of the box, which we are going to go over in just a little bit about exactly what's in the box. And at least that's what sold me, the amount of things in the box. I mean, don't get too excited. There's not any games or anything like that. They're not doing any bundles. So now, a big question is, how did the Joy-Cons work? I'm going to put up a picture on the screen now. So you can see that they have a full set of buttons, and they can each act as their own standalone controller. This is what I was talking about when it comes to like rotating it horizontally and then using it with your friends. That was really cool. Apparently, they do have an IR motion camera, which gives each individual remote its own motion support, motion controlling. And it allows them, which I thought this is the part that makes me really confused, and I have no idea how this is going to work. But apparently, it can detect hand gestures. I have no idea who the fuck is going to design this into their games, how they're going to design it, and if it's even going to be remotely functional, or how buggy this is. I've never seen Nintendo do this before, as far as actually sensing hand gestures. So I don't see many people developing this in the games. So I don't even know how well this is going to be received with developers. I think it's going to be massively overlooked by a ton of developers, and I don't know what the fuck you could do with it. I really don't. If anybody has any suggestions, be sure to talk about it in the comments down below, because I'm super curious about what other people's ideas are for using this motion camera. So in addition to this, they have what they're calling the HD Rumble, which gives them the ability to convey different types of vibrations to you. So, and one of the big analogies that they used was that the vibration would allow you to basically feel like you're shaking a cup with an ice cube in it, and it is apparently so high definition of a vibration system that you can even sense if it has water or multiple ice cubes in it and how many. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Something really cool to note about the controllers is that when you do turn it horizontally, you can see that the SL button and the SR button act as independent L and R buttons, which is awesome, and it's kind of what helps you use this controller as its own independent controller, so you don't lose the L and R functionality when you split them apart. You do still keep them. Also, something that's not really explained here in this picture that I've had up for a while, the left stick and the right stick, they do click. That is what was said by the spokesman on stage who was showing off the Switch console during the launch event. So the left stick and right stick do click down. Something else to note is that it does use lithium-ion batteries. So that's cool. Another really awesome thing is that they do scan the Joy-Con. I'm reading here. The right Joy-Con includes a sensor, so only the right Joy-Con supports this, but it can scan Amiibo, which is really awesome. And that's really good to know that Amiibo's not phasing out. They're not getting rid of them. They're going to do something with them, or they're going to keep them relevant. I do believe that they do have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Amiibos on the horizon, but you'll have to wait for maybe next week to get more information on that. So let's see here. How much do the different Switch controllers and accessories cost? So there is going to be a Switch Pro controller that will be $70. You can buy another set of Joy-Cons, which will be a set of two, left and right, for $80, which is pretty steep in my opinion. You can buy a left or a right sold separately, individual from each other, for $50 each. There will be a Joy-Con charging grip for $30, a Nintendo Switch dock set for $90. I'm sorry, the charging grip is $30. Let me move back on that. And the dock set is $90. And then there will be a Joy-Con wheel set of two for $15. Not entirely sure what the Joy-Con wheel is, but I'm going to try and put pictures up for all these things if I can find the pictures for all of them. So now the Nintendo Switch dock set, the one that's listed for $90, that does come with the console. So do remind yourself of that, as well as a set of the Joy-Cons, of course. They come with the system. So let's talk specs about the Nintendo Switch. The Switch uses a 6.2-inch 720 resolution capacitive touchscreen. This is pretty cool. I have mentioned this to many people that it runs a 720p screen, and my immediate response that I've had from every single person that I've mentioned to is a very, very, very common ew. Now, I don't know what the actual resolution is of the Wii U gamepad controller, but it looks fine, and I do assume that it's honestly probably 720p. I don't think that they made it any different. I don't think they would have gone lower, and I don't think they would have gone higher. But 6.2-inch 720 screen, that is about a third of the way from or that's about 2/3 away from being what Apple calls Retina displays, really beautiful displays. But I don't think we need a Retina display for this device, but I definitely don't think we need um, anything past 1080. As far as whether or not we should have 1080, I'm not too sure. We're definitely going to have to see what it looks like, and I'm definitely going to have to hear from different people what they think about the 720p screen on a device like the Switch. I will be at PAX South in the next couple of weeks here, so I technically could get my hands on one, so I'll probably be tweeting about it when I do, if I do check it out. If not, I'll be tweeting about lots of other products at PAX South and what I get, what I see. So, of course, you can always follow me at Twitter, at AbilityP. So that's where you can go and follow me if you want to hear more thoughts about what I'm seeing when I'm at PAX South. You can also go there just to get general thoughts from me. So 32 gigabyte internal storage, which you can also expand with a micro SDXC card. 32 gigabytes of internal storage, I am torn. It's good to know that we will have the ability to expand the storage. That is awesome. But I'm primarily concerned about me being somebody who prefers digital download over physical copies of games. I've just always been that way ever since I could. I liked the idea of downloading it and having it on any device that I wanted. Because everything's normally bound to an account rather than being bound to just a disc that I can lend around. So the Switch will apparently be utilizing a NVIDIA Tegra based system for its processor, and the console will also support 8-player local multiplayer. Apparently, as far as audio goes, it has 2 speakers at the bottom and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack at the top. So that's pretty cool. You can just kind of plop in any pair of headphones that you like and use them. That's great, fine and dandy. So with this being a mobile console, essentially, a lot of people are concerned about battery life. Battery life is allegedly anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours. It can totally vary depending on the game and your usage conditions, just how long you have things on. I assume there's going to be some sort of brightness control in the system, and I assume that'll have a big effect on battery life. So now the Nintendo Switch does have a nice little USB Type-C charging port at the bottom of the unit. That's really cool to me because I'm really happy to see that we're adopting more and more USB Type-C. I believe this is the first console that will have some sort of USB Type-C on it. Now, whether or not that USB Type-C is used only for charging functionality, it is really an interesting idea to throw around that maybe you could use that USB Type-C for more things, such as maybe some sort of flash storage. That'd be really cool. There's also the idea of the USB ports that are on the dock that comes with the system. I wonder if you can technically plug in flash drives and use those as expandable storage, but I definitely wouldn't get my hopes up for that kind of thing. But that would be really cool if you can just have like a huge amount of your games on a flash drive that you keep plugged into the dock. So then whenever you're out on the go, you have to use cartridges or the internal storage. And then you can kind of keep your games that you don't really play on the go on the USB stick that's at home. Helps you kind of optimize things. Pricing for the games, while the party game 1-2 Switch is retailing for $50, things like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, those all have normal AAA $60 price tags. So you can expect to see $50 price tags not being the norm, even though a game is coming out for $50. I would definitely expect $60 to be the norm. As far as the physical format, like I mentioned earlier, I do believe that there will be cartridges that they're calling game cards, which you can insert into the top of the console. They of course did confirm that you can purchase games digitally. Now it's also fully confirmed that there are no bundles with games for the Switch, and I will read this off here. According to the Nintendo of America president Reggie, the exclusion had to do with the console's price, the priority of including everything that consumers need to use the console, and giving them the freedom to decide what software they want to pay for. So that's pretty cool, but it's also kind of a bummer to some people who would have preferred to maybe save a couple bucks by getting a bundle instead of having to buy the game separately. So, but there are a lot of big announcements for games. 1-2 Switch, ARMS, FIFA, Fire Emblem Warriors, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, New Shin Megami Tensei, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Skyrim Switch was officially confirmed. That's awesome. Splatoon Splatoon 2, Steep. There's also Super Mario Odyssey, Ultra Street Fighter 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We'll talk about a couple of these games, including some other ones, in just a moment, and a little more in-depth talk about them, because some of them are actually really interesting topics. So now we do have some pictures of what the Nintendo Switch's main menu will look like. So here's a picture of it now. We don't have many other pictures aside from this. It's totally subject to change. We have no idea whether or not this is the final look of it all. So it was also confirmed that the Switch will have an online subscriber service, very similar to how PS4 and Xbox One function, where you have to pay a monthly service for online functionality. This is upsetting to hear, but it's also really cool to hear, because it means that maybe we're going to get a more consistent, high quality online experience with the Switch. And it sounds like that Nintendo is taking online gaming more seriously, and then this is their response. This is how they're going to get us to enjoy high quality content. Really cool side note about the fact that there's a subscription service. Apparently, you will get a free NES or SNES game every month, so long as you are subscribed. That is really cool, and I'm really interested in that. And that sounds like it's going to be awesome, having a new game to play every single month just because I subscribe. Granted, they're not big games, they're not big releases, but they are SNES and NES titles, and those could be a lot of fun. There's a lot of old games that are great. So real quick, I'm going to go over exactly what's in the box of the Nintendo Switch when you do purchase the console. I'll put up a picture that was from the conference right up here. So it does come with the Switch console itself, which is the screen, the left and right Joy-Con controllers. You will only get one pair of them, either the blue and red ones or the double gray ones, depending on which package you buy. You will also get the Joy-Con wrist straps, which snap into the controllers. They make it a really comfortable experience to hold them individually. You will get the Switch dock, which is what's going to have a couple USB ports on it. It's what's going to, I assume, charge your device whenever you're not using it, or when you're using it with the with like a TV. You will also get the Joy-Con grip. I am really happy to hear that the Joy-Con grip is coming with the system, rather than having to just use the controllers separately from each other, just down at the ground, just on your side. It's nice to know that we will get a grip of some sort to get a traditional feeling of console gaming. So that's really cool. There's also it's going to come with an AC adapter, of course, and an HDMI cable, which is nothing new. Nintendo has always provided an HDMI cable with their most recent consoles. The Wii U came with one, and I don't remember if the Wii did, but the Wii U did come with one. So this is now nothing new. We're just continuing with the same trend that we always have. So all these things for $300, really cool. If you do want a Pro controller, it's going to be $70 additional. So one of the biggest things that I'm really happy about, and I did not even expect this. I didn't expect this 50 miles away. But the Nintendo Switch will be region locking free. So anybody who likes to get the Japanese import titles, when, sometimes they come out a week before, sometimes they just prefer to play the Japanese titles. Sometimes there are titles that only exist in Japan. But the Nintendo Switch will be region locked free, so no worries there. If anyone's curious about how big the Switch is compared to other devices, here you go. Here's some pictures. You can see it compared to a Wii U gamepad. You could see it compared to a 3DS XL. You can see it here compared to a PlayStation Vita. And then, yep, that's pretty much it. So big thanks to Christopher Grant over at Polygon for some of these pictures. They're really great and helpful to help you better understand how big the system actually is. And I actually like the size of it. It looks really nice and convenient. Something that was recently confirmed was that the Nintendo Switch, and this isn't much of a confirmation, more like a confirmation of indifference. We just don't know. There's no word on it. So we have it confirmed that we don't know yet that the Nintendo Switch may not have Netflix support, which I know can be a big bummer for a lot of people. So we'll see where that goes. I do think it'd be really awesome if you could utilize a lot of your streaming needs off of your Nintendo Switch, because you could then just dock it in the dock and watch your Netflix on the TV, take it out of the dock, and then watch your Netflix on the go, and then swap to a game at any point in time. I do think that this is a really good idea to do. So please I hope that there will be a lot of apps that will support lots of different things. I'd like a Plex app. If I could get a Plex app, I can't words. If I could get a Plex app on my Switch, that would be awesome. Nintendo offers Metroid and Mother 3 fans a glimmer of hope. This is really cool and came at a bit of a surprise. But basically, when somebody talked to Reggie recently, he basically said that he got asked about Mother 3, and he says that maybe you can ask him about Metroid as well. And he says, I'm a proud executive with Nintendo. We look at all the comments and we have a good understanding of what everybody wants. And believe me, we take to heart as we work to create content. He says, I have nothing to announce here, but we are aware that there are some key IPs that consumers just can't wait for the next true installment in that franchise's legacy to come out. Suffice to say, we're aware of it, and talk to me in a year, and let's look back and see what's happened. So this sounds like Reggie has a something that he knows, but he can't talk about it, but he kind of wants us to get freaked out a little bit. So maybe there might be a new Metroid for the Switch, and maybe Mother 3 will finally have a little bit more information on it. One more thing, is that one more? 1, 2, 3. Oh man, we still got a couple more things to go about the Switch. So Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild file size for the game, if you were to digitally download it, is apparently 40% of the Nintendo Switch's 32 gigabytes internal storage. That is massive. 13.4 gigabytes of a game. That's not even considering the console's OS and how much it might be taking up already. So it looks like that if you're going to be a digital downloader, you are going to want to invest in a very high capacity micro SDXC card. That way you can have a lot of games on your Switch. Or you might want to start making the pre-orders of the games for the physical copies online. Super Mario Odyssey is more on the core side, Miyamoto says. So Miyamoto recently talked about Super Mario Odyssey after the announcement of it at the Switch conference. And he says that we've been making Mario games for over 30 years. And through that process, we've made changes to the games. Some games tended to be a little bit harder to play. And then we teeter back to make it accessible to all kinds of gamers. And then we go back the other way. It's kind of a give and take that way. But as far as the game, it's a lot like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. It's very big, sandbox-like world. And let me just go on record to say this right now, because I know that everyone's already saying it. This game looks like it's straight out of Sega. This game looks like a Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic 06. The environments are strikingly similar. I don't know whether it's going to play like 06. Let's hope that this game's actually good. 06 is such a controversial topic, I'm not even going to dive into it today. But you better believe that one day I'm going to have a lot to say about some Sonic stuff. And actually, that'll segue me into my next quick point. Sonic Mania was confirmed for the Nintendo Switch. We did know that Sonic Project 2017 was going to be coming to the Nintendo NX at the time. That's what they were calling it, especially at the big reveal for Project 2017 for Sonic. But we now have it confirmed that Sonic Mania, alongside Project 2017, will be both available on the Nintendo Switch at their respective release dates. That's really cool. The idea of having a classic Sonic game and a modern Sonic game all on the same console is just really, really, really cool for me. It's just, I'm a huge Sonic fan. I'm going to go on record and say that for my channel. Anybody who follows me now. I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. There's going to be a lot of Sonic content around the time Mania comes out and around the time Project 2017 comes out. So be ready for that. There is a new Bomberman for the Nintendo Switch, and it looks really, really cute. I guess that's the way to say it. Super Bomberman, man, what are they calling it? Super Bomberman R is a new 1 to 8 player console game. Something that you never think that you'd see out of Konami, but it looks good. It looks fun. It looks interesting. And I used to love Bomberman, and it looks like it's going to be a nice, fun hit with people who decide to buy it. I can't I don't think I would pay a AAA price for this game. I really don't. It doesn't look like there's going to be enough content for me to really care enough to pay $60 for it. But hey, um, you know, if people buy it, people buy it. I just hope that it's not $60. That's going to wrap up our Nintendo Switch coverage. It's a lot to go over. I know the Nintendo Switch had a lot to talk about. There was just honestly a lot of content to cover as far as the Nintendo Switch goes. So let's move on now with some other topics that are a little bit different and not Nintendo related. So game mode, I can't words, was spotted in the latest Windows 10 preview build. So this is pretty cool. It was discovered as a basic, just called gamemode.dll on a leaked version of Windows 10. But apparently in the preview build of Windows 10 15.007, some people found some more stuff about it. But basically what game mode is it allows the PC to better allocate its resources to the game in the foreground rather than running the system in the background. Just overall, it's meant to improve the quality of your gaming experience. So aside from that, apparently there's a couple of things about Overwatch news right now. The director of Overwatch, Jeff Kaplan, has said that there will be aggressive action taken against people who abuse the ice wall exploit. So there is for those of you who don't know, there is a little exploit with May's ice wall that can put her in inaccessible areas of the game where she can attack but not be damaged, and it's a massive game breaker. But apparently, Kaplan went on record to say that the bug was surprisingly tricky for us to track down, but we believe we have identified a fix. Our hope is to have the fix sometime tomorrow, but there is always a chance that our fix could fail. We currently are testing to verify the fix. So he also says we'll be taking action against those who have abused this exploit. Overwatch is a PvP experience, so that means exploiting game mechanics like this comes at a cost to those you are competing against. We take aggressive action against people who abuse game mechanics, hack, or cheat. This case is no different. So for any of you guys who are not... for any of you guys who are abusing this, man, rest in peace. Another news about Overwatch. Blizzard bans 10,000 Overwatch nukers in Korea. For those of you who don't know what a nuker is, as far as the gaming scene goes, they're basically able to mess with the internet connection, performing a multitude of DDoS attacks, and it basically ruins the online connection, but people are abusing it to, I guess, change the outcome of a game. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what they're exactly benefiting from it, but from what I can tell, it is definitely breaking TOS, and it's definitely against every sort of rule, and Blizzard has taken action against 10,000 Overwatch accounts because of it. So something recent that happened over at CES is that 2 Razer prototype laptops were stolen from the CES booth, and there's a couple of updates regarding this. Now, I believe, in bed when this first happened. I whipped out my phone and I looked at it and I was like, holy fuck, I cannot believe somebody is this stupid. But basically, Min Liang Tan, the CEO of Razer, posted on Facebook saying that they've filed a police report. They're working with show management and law enforcement to track down the thief. They didn't go on record to say which prototypes were stolen, but we do know that they did show off 2 specific prototypes, concept devices, if you will, this year. A laptop with 3 screens called Project Valerie, and then there was also Project Ariana, which was the projection, the short throw projection with the room recognition, giving you this really cool immersive effect of graphics around your computer monitor. As you game on your monitor, you're given really neat immersive peripherals, I guess you could say, all around you that's projected by this cute little projector. They're kind of calling it a Chroma product, which is pretty funny. But there's also Project Valerie, which I just mentioned, which was the triple screen 17-inch laptop. So I could go on record and just say that it's one of these each, or they stole 2 different Project Valeries. I know that for sure one of them was a Project Valerie because there was an update, credit to the Linus Tech Tip forums, that somebody had found a person selling Project Valerie on a foreign website trying to get, I believe, somewhere around the ballpark of $22,000 for the system, which is a steal considering you can't even get it anywhere, and it's possible that it might not even go into production. Two new things about The Sims, specifically The Sims 4. We are getting a free update that brings toddlers into the game. I'm not going to dwell too much on these two things because they're really, really small. There's also new Sims 4 DLC that adds vampires in, which is kind of cool. So if you're a Sims 4 player and you want to go enjoy these things, go check that out. Now, as we had some news about Windows 10 and Xbox One and the PS4, there's also new news of a major system software update coming in soon. I believe they're calling it 4.5, saying that it will include improvements and new features, but they didn't provide any specifics. So not sure exactly what's going to be coming in 4.5, but apparently it's coming soon, early February 2017. So I'm interested to see exactly what we're getting in 4.5. Quick little plug for Awesome Games Done Quick. Awesome Games Done Quick, or AGDQ, has been going on recently, and there was a really cool Pokemon Emerald speedrun that was done by the Tyrant 14. And he does a 3-hour, I believe it's about a 3-hour run. Let me see if I can find a specific time mark. Yeah, 2 hours and 56 minutes. And apparently, one of the impressive things about the run was that it was using only 2 Pokemon, one of which was a Mudkip, and it was named Waluigi. So that's pretty cool. If you want, you can check out the run in the description down below. I'll go ahead and link to it next to the time mark of this slot of discussion. So that was a really cool run. I'm a huge fan of speedrunning. As you guys know, that my channel is primarily gaming content, of course. I love everything gaming, and speedrunning is no exception. So please go check out the AGDQ run of Pokemon Emerald, or check out AGDQ 2017 just on Twitch, anywhere. Go check it out. It's a big donation run for, I don't remember exactly, I believe they're doing a Prevent Cancer Foundation this time around, or at least during the Pokemon Emerald run, and they're raising tons of money for great causes, so please go check out AGDQ and support them if you can. But this was an awesome Pokemon Emerald run, and I definitely want to check it out sometime soon. Finally, our last topic for today is going to be about Final Fantasy 15. Now, if you guys haven't already seen it, you guys should check out my review that I'll put up a card for right here, in which I talk about everything that I feel about the game, from the non-spoilers to the spoilers and everything in between, and all my feelings in total. But apparently, Final Fantasy 15 has now moved about 6 million copies as of about 4 days ago. This is super awesome. It means that Final Fantasy 15 is doing amazing, and I'm very excited to see where Final Fantasy 15 is going to go in the coming days, years, weeks, months. Who knows what's going to be given to 15 over the course of its lifetime until any sort of sequel to the Eos saga, the saga of Noctis and all that, is to see if it goes anywhere from here. But as far as the 15 title itself goes, really, really interesting to see where it's going to go. Allegedly, last year, the game director claimed that 15 would need to sell 10 million copies to break even. And of course, they've already made a good dent in that number, and I'm sure they'll reach it over time. So that was it. Thank you for watching, guys. We covered a lot of news today, a lot of interesting topics, primarily Nintendo Switch. If you liked this show, we're calling it WIG. Today it was only me, but next week it might be more than me. It might be some sort of co-host. So I am looking for people. So if you have a high quality microphone, if you love video games and are passionate and you love talking about them on your YouTube channel, shoot me a message on YouTube and I will be sure to check you out. And I might also just be bringing in certain close people that I know that love games over the next couple weeks until maybe the show drives a little bit more traffic, and then we can bring in other people. We can bring in people from the community. We can have big open discussions about this. We could even do after show things where we can go and play a game, or we can all just have a big open discussion in a live stream. Not sure how we want to do this show format, but just to get the idea out there, this is what the first episode was, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Like always, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you disliked it, you know what to do. If you want to talk about any of the topics that we've talked about in this video today, then just go ahead and talk about it in the comments down below. Please get subscribed if you want to see more content like this. I also have a bunch of other videos that I've been putting out, pretty much multiple videos a week, and soon playthroughs will be coming out. Big Let's Plays, lots of pretty much daily content. So thank you for watching, everybody. As always, see you next time.